Welcome to the Consulting Success Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Zipursky. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into the world of elite consultants, where you'll learn the strategies, tactics, and mindset to grow a highly profitable and successful consulting business. Hey, it's Michael Zipursky, and I am very excited to welcome you to episode 100. This is a very special episode because it's 100, but more importantly, we're just seeing such great feedback from the consulting community. We get emails every week from people who have found that the podcast has made a difference in their lives, has helped them to get greater clarity, has helped them to grow their business. And that's why we do this. So thank you to everyone that has reached out. We will continue to provide and bring you great episodes with guests and the latest best practices to help you to grow your consulting business. But for this episode 100, that is, it's a special one. And so we thought we would do something a little bit different. And you have me today. But what I'm going to be doing is taking you through 10 of the top episodes and really extracting key insights from each one of those episodes and sharing with you why they are so important for you as a consultant and for your business. So I'm going to go through these 10 and give you kind of the quote from each consultant that I interviewed, and then give you some context, share my perspective, my insights, my experience, maybe some stories around that, so that you can really pull out these golden nuggets and implement them into your business and apply them to your mindset to perform at even higher levels. So let's get right into it. The first insight here that I want to share with you is from podcast number 30 that I did with Perry Marshall. And this episode is all about the 4 steps to specializing in your consulting business and also marketing techniques. Perry is a very wise guy, and episode number 30 is one that you're going to want to check out if you haven't already. But the key message that I want to share with you from this is Perry said, quote, 80-20 is fundamentally about saying no. 80-20 says that sales and marketing is a disqualification process, not a convincing people process. The first step of doing 80-20 is saying, what am I not? Who do I not serve? A consultant by nature is an open options person. It feels disingenuous to yourself to close off options. But if you're going to specialize in manufacturing, then you're not in software. You're not in IT. You're not in pizza delivery. Now, I've observed that, and that's end quote, but what I've observed is that growth comes from subtraction, not addition. And that's why what Perry's sharing this message is so powerful. It's so true. We've seen it play out over and over with hundreds of consultants we've personally worked with in our coaching program. And what I want to impart with you is that less is more. That by becoming very focused on who your ideal client is and what your area of specialization is, not only will you feel more focused, you will feel more clear. Your service offerings will be able to be tailored and more specific to your ideal clients. Your messaging will be more specific to your ideal clients. And because of that, it will resonate better with them. And that's true power, right? When you start to be very clear on exactly who you serve and what you offer them and how you can help them, you're talking their language. Now everything starts to connect better because there's greater alignment, and just a higher level of response is what you'll see. I interviewed Mark Hunter, which you'll be hearing coming up in another episode. He's the sales hunter, one of the top sales minds in the world. And really what he said is that less allows you to focus on the best clients and charge higher fees. So in Mark's case, right, he doesn't need to go after hundreds and hundreds of different companies all at one time, right? He can boil down, and he has boiled down exactly who his ideal client is. And so rather than trying to scale through the acquisition of many, many clients, he has gotten much more focused on the ideal client. And because he's very focused on the ideal client, he's been able to maximize his fees to earn significantly more than others might in his industry. Now, the other part of this is that once you've gotten clear on your specialization and who your ideal clients are, you said no to the wrong opportunities, which then allows you to say yes to the right ones, you can then build better systems and processes around that. And I'll talk more about that because that's another theme that came up here. Now, the second insight that I want to share with you comes from episode 11. And this was all about how to diversify and create multiple income streams as a consultant. And this was with Dorie Clark. So episode number 11. And this is what Dorie said, quote, marketing is much more long-term horizon oriented. Marketing is the activities that you do that are probably not going to pay a dividend today, but will pay a dividend next month or next year or in 5 years. The more you can spend time doing that, the higher the plateau you can reach. What you want to be able to do is shift your ratios so that you're doing far more marketing and far less sales, because it's marketing that will have a greater long-term benefit. In the beginning, I almost exclusively did sales. At present, I basically do no sales. I do marketing fully, meaning I spend my time on content creation, giving speeches, writing books, with the goal of attracting customers to me so that the sales process is not me knocking on their door and asking or begging. The sales process is them coming to me and saying, can I work with you? Me quoting a price and them saying, great, end quote. Now, this is a very important concept, and it's one that I've spoken with many of our clients about over the years. And I describe it as part of the marketing maturity model, which is that when you're early in your marketing, and now to just make a distinction, you might already have many years as a consultant, or you might be brand new in the world of consulting. But when you start up your marketing process, meaning you're not just relying on referrals or your network anymore, when you're doing marketing, right, when you want to actually start to generate a pipeline of opportunities, then in almost all cases, you will need to do more outreach, right, more outbound early on. And that's considered to be more sales, right? That's the harder stuff to do. It's not as comfortable to do because you need to go out rather than having people come to you. It's a lot easier to just have someone show up and say, hey, I'd like to hire you, right, than it is for you to call or email or connect on LinkedIn and follow up and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is that almost every consultant out there has had to go through that stage. And when you're early on in your marketing, you can look at other consultants. Like I have people reach out and say, Michael, maybe you don't need to do this anymore. And I said, no, you're right. I don't need to do it anymore, but I did need to do it back in the day. And that's what all consultants have to go through, is that early on, you need to have that drive, that hustle, that work ethic, especially when it comes to outreach and to follow up, because that's what gets things moving at the beginning. And then as you start to build your pipeline, and because you're reaching out to people and you're doing follow up and you're creating more conversations, then you start to land more business if you have a good system in place to do so. And then as that happens, you can shift what I call the marketing maturity model to be doing less of that sales and more of the marketing, right? More of the inbound, more of the long-term stuff, which is exactly what Dorie is referring to, right? That content creation. And so if you dive into, or if you start doing your marketing, the first thing you do is only content, and you don't do outreach, you don't do outbound, you follow just what other people are saying about, you have to blog, you have to do this or that. The reality is it might take a while for you to see the return on that investment. It might take a while for you to really start generating leads from it. And that's why I almost always counsel our clients, and especially those that we work with kind of together very closely in our coaching program, is to think about it when you're getting started early on, to be doing that outreach, right? Laying the groundwork, building the pipeline, and at the same time doing a smaller percentage of the marketing, the longer term stuff, the content creation, because it's really important, and that's evergreen, and it's going to generate opportunities for you far into the future. But if you only do that to start, then you're going to be waiting a lot longer to actually get in front of ideal clients. And that's the power of the outreach, right? Of the sales side, is that it allows you to literally connect with an ideal client today and be meeting them later this week, if you put in the work to do so, if you have the right system and the right structure to accomplish that. So it's natural to feel that you're going to want to gravitate towards marketing. But if you start just with marketing and content creation and not with the outreach and the outbound and the sales and the prospecting, then you're going to be waiting a lot longer. So it's the balance of those two, but recognize that it's not always going to be that way, that as you continue doing this and you go down that path and you follow the right system and process, then what you're going to be able to do is to shift that percentage, so you'll be able to do a lot more content creation, a lot more marketing, a lot more enjoyable stuff for most people rather than the prospecting, the sales. But at the early stage, that is so key. Now, the third insight comes to you from David Baker, and this is from podcast number 14. And the title for that podcast was Taking Greater Risks to Enjoy Greater Rewards. So let's continue on a little bit with the marketing theme, because here what David says, quote, the second biggest mistake consultants make is that they do not pay attention to their own marketing. They're the cobbler's son with no shoes. We joke about that, but it's disgusting to me. It's pathetic, honestly, that consultants don't have a great website. They don't have a presence, end quote. And I see this with both new and seasoned consultants, right? It's that marketing, working on your business, not just in your business, is a hard thing to do. And especially as you start having clients or you have family obligations, just life, right? Makes your schedule busy. And so the first thing that typically drops off your calendar is marketing, because for many people, marketing isn't the most enjoyable activity, right? Or time of your day to spend on working on your marketing, but it's the most important, right? Of course, delivering results for clients and doing what you say that you're going to do and going even beyond the expectations is critical, right? That's the highest priority. Job number one is to deliver for clients without a doubt. But remember that if you don't do marketing, you won't have clients. And even if you're in a position today where you've landed a great contract, you have one or two clients that are paying you a lot of money, that's a dangerous place to be. And we see this all the time. We have people reach out saying, hey, I need help with my marketing. And I say, well, where are you coming from? What's going on? And they tell me, well, I've been working with this one client. I've been making $250,000 a year with them. Things have been great, but that project is ending. Or sometimes people wait until it's too late, meaning that that project has ended and they've been scrambling and say, yeah, I've been trying to figure out what to do for the last 2 months because I haven't been able to pick up any work. Well, if the sooner that you start planting those seeds for your marketing, the sooner that you'll be able to reap the benefits and rewards of doing so, right? Marketing pays dividends, but it takes time for you to see the fruits of your labors in many cases. But the sooner that you begin, the sooner that you're going to benefit from that. And that's why marketing must become a habit. It must be done consistently. Our study, so if you go to consultingsuccess.com, if you go to the blog, you can search, or just kind of scroll through, you'll see the Marketing for Consultants 2019 study that we just conducted the data shows that consultants who market consistently have far more clients. They rely less on referrals and have higher incomes. So if you want to be in that group, if you want to succeed rather than struggle, then make sure that you're working on your marketing consistently. Here's insight number 4, and it's from the podcast titled How CEOs Buy Consulting Services with Lew Jaffe, and that's podcast number 84 if you want to search for it. So Lew says, quote, "To me, all businesses are the same. Gain and retain customers profitably in order to create value. Whether you're selling a product or a service, it's like you have aspirin and your potential customer has a headache. It's how do you get that aspirin in alignment with the headache, whether it be selling a product or a service. It's the same thing. It's how you package it, but it gets to product market fit. My product is me. And so when I'm looking for clients or when clients come to me, I want to make sure that I bring to the party what fits with what they want and what they'll pay for." So Lew's an incredibly smart guy, very talented. He's created over $1 billion in shareholder value. He actually came out to one of our live events that we ran for some of our coaching clients, and everyone found him to be captivating and just enjoyed what he shared. The key message here, what I really want to encourage you to take away, is to focus on that alignment and the fit between what your client, the market you want to serve, what they really desire, what their needs are, what pains they have, and what you are delivering, what you're talking about, what you're offering, right? Because it's not just about what you have, it's about what you want. And many consultants will just go on and on about everything that they do and what they have, but it's not about that. It's about what the client actually wants, right? What is their situation? And here's the other thing that I want you to remember is that people like to buy, right? We all like to buy things. We just don't like to be sold to. So if you're going into a conversation and you're just saying, hey, here's what I want to take you through, here's our process and our methodology and what we've done, we've worked with these people and we're great at this because we have these degrees and so on, then you're talking all about yourself. Rather, right, make sales easy. Don't try and sell. Ask questions. Identify through deep, meaningful questions, what does that person want? And when you truly understand exactly what they want, because you've dug deep, really into the core, you've pulled back the layers of the onion, then offer it to them. Then extend an invitation. Say, well, hey, we actually did something very similar with an organization, and this is the results that they saw. Would that be helpful for you? And if you've had that conversation, then you have good product market fit because you're offering the client or the prospective client exactly what they just told you they want to buy. Rather than saying, hey, I have this cup of coffee. I know you only drink tea, but why don't you try our coffee? That doesn't work. But find out, oh yeah, you like to drink green tea and that's all you drink. Well, I have a wonderful green tea. I just brought it back from Japan with me. Would you like to try it? Of course I would, right? Make sales easy. Don't try and sell to someone. Try and figure out ways that you can serve them, right? Make buying easy for them. Insight number 5 comes from episode number 43, and it's titled Corporate Consulting for Fortune 500 Companies with Suzanne Bates. So here's what she said, quote, "You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in your learning and your growth. In addition to setting aside money for my family to live on, I joined professional organizations and associations. I met more people who could help me. Just as you help your clients, they were incredibly valuable to me as mentors. I tried to surround myself with people who knew what they were doing. I had a great account. I had a great mentor. I had an association. Unfortunately, I hadn't met you, Michael, but I worked with a consultant who helped me with all the block and tackle, from how you price your services to how you write a proposal that gets accepted, to how to talk to the client, how to do consultative selling, how to frame your work, how to understand what the client's challenges are, how to get it over the finish line. While we work with a lot of seasoned and experienced consultants here at Consulting Success, I'm often contacted by new early stage consultants. Invariably, the question I'm asked is, what are the steps I should take to become a successful consultant and grow my consulting business to my first 6 figures per year? Well, I'm excited to announce that we've opened the doors for our Momentum program. This is our most popular program for early stage consultants, and it has helped almost 1,000 consultants to start, run, and grow successful consulting businesses. It gives you the step-by-step plan to help you with your messaging, your fees, and pricing strategies, how to win more proposals, how to go to market more effectively, developing a marketing system to generate leads consistently, and so much more. And right now, until September the 19th, you can sign up for Momentum and get 50% off the regular price by going to consultingsuccess.com/audio. That's consultingsuccess.com/audio, AUDIO. Only 100 spots are available to join Momentum and get 50% off. This deal is only available until September the 19th or until all 100 spots are gone. We won't be opening up new spots in this program for several months, so don't wait. Go to consultingsuccess.com/audio. That's consultingsuccess.com/audio, AUDIO. Now, our business started to change. Like, we really saw dramatic growth. You could even call it like an inflection point, right? Or a real kind of turning point in our business. The moment that we started to invest in working with other coaches and mentors. So we decided to invest in our business and in ourselves. And in response to that, we start to see things and learn things that otherwise we wouldn't have been able to see. Like, that's really the value of coaching, of having mentors, of surrounding yourself with people who are either quote unquote smarter than you, or really just have different experiences and skill sets. But ideally, they are at that next level that you want to be at, which means that they've already gone through, they've walked the path that you're walking right now, and they know what obstacles to avoid. They know how to get you from where you are to where you want to get to a lot faster. And so when we did that, our business took off. And I think if you look at any successful person out there, whether they are, an athlete, they're an artist, right? They're, let's say, a singer or an actor, they are in the business world, right? I mean, Eric Schmidt, the chairperson and CEO at that time of Google, right, had a coach. And we've consistently bring coaches and mentors into our world that helps us to really grow at a faster rate, to make better informed decisions. And I would say that making that investment is a true commitment, because when you invest into working with a coach, or you invest into a program or whatever it might be, then you need to succeed. Like, every coach that we've worked with, every program that we've been into, we've always had a positive return on investment. And of course, that's gratitude to the coach or to whoever offered that program, because they had good stuff in, most cases. But even sometimes when we took something that wasn't maybe the best for us or wasn't the right fit, we still always had a positive return on investment. And that's because we were committed to implementing. We took action. We didn't just learn, we actually put it into play. And that's where we really started to see greater and greater results. And so the other thing that I remember one of our mentors said many years ago, which really resonated with me, is how can you ask people to invest in you if you're not investing in yourself? So as a consultant, right, you're asking companies and people to invest in your services and what you're offering. But how can you do that with real confidence if you yourself aren't investing into your own business and to increasing your levels of performance and knowledge and skills? So if you really want to shorten your path to results, right, find someone or some program that can help you to improve in the areas that you're looking to improve, and be committed to it and implement on it relentlessly. And when you do that, results are almost guaranteed. I don't know your exact situation, so I can't say, but in the vast majority, our experience has been that we've always seen a positive ROI. So that's insight number 5. Now, insight number 6 comes from Jason Tro, and it's podcast 31, Consulting Your Inner Self to Master the Business Mind Games. So that's episode 31. And here's what Jason had to say, quote, "People get stuck up in the how too much. You just got to figure out the why. That's the drive. It's like running. It's 20 degrees here in Dallas. I know for some people, they're feeling that's not cold. Well, here it is, right? The difference is because I have goals and I have drive, I'm going out there and doing it. If you have motivation, you wouldn't go outside and run here. That's the difference. You got to find your drive that's going to ignite you to go forward. That comes from the why, not the how, because now you're getting bogged down in unnecessary details of asking questions that literally, if you just started, you'd figure them out. Wow, right? This is so important. I really want to encourage you to go listen to episode 31. This is mindset. This is all about how you behave and how you conduct yourself and how you make better decisions. We all have tough days, right? Reasons not to take action that we said that we would, and deep down inside, we know that we should. We convince ourselves, we find excuses not to take that action. But when you have a strong why that drives you, right, that really motivates you, then you're going to take that action. If you have a child and they need to go somewhere, it's really critical for them. Like, you're going to move mountains to make sure that happens, right? If they need some kind of medical care, whatever it is, like, you're going to make sure it happens. And you have a why. Now, that may not be the best example when it comes to building your business, but the context or the idea is the same. That when you find a real true reason that's driving you to do what you do, right? Not just making money, but like, why are you really doing what you're doing, right? How committed are you to truly bringing results and changing the lives and the environment that your clients and the market you're serving is in? Like, when you get very clear on your why, then all the things that you confront on a daily basis that are tough or that are challenging, that you don't really like, you just power through them. And you may not enjoy them, and you might still hesitate a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you're out the door, right? If we use Jason's idea, like, you're out there, you're going to go for a run. Yes, there's snow on the ground. Yes, you could find a reason, like, I might slip, it's dangerous and all these things. But listen, if you're committed to being in shape, if you're committed to being healthier, to feel more energized, right? Then you're going to go out. You might run a little bit slower. You might wear different shoes. Like, you're going to make it happen. And that's really what separates, again, those who struggle from those who succeed. And you've likely heard this before, but people on their deathbed don't talk about wanting more money, right? It's their regrets. It's the things that they didn't try that they know that they should have. It's the things that they thought about, but they created reasons and excuses not to move forward with, right? And so that's what they regret. They regret not stepping up. They regret not facing their fear. This is your time, my friend. Do it. Whatever it is that you really want to achieve, figure out your why and then drive forward with it. Here's insight number 7, and this comes from Rita McGrath in podcast number 82, titled Creating Growth and Competitive Advantage in Consulting. So Rita says, quote, "The first thing to realize is it's not me all by myself doing all this stuff. I have a team around me. There will come a time in your business, if you're successful, where you cannot keep on top of everything." What I find with a lot of younger consultants or people that are just starting out, the thought of actually spending money on someone to help them with stuff, they're very reluctant to do that because they're like, well, that's money out of my pocket. You can't look at it that way. You have to be looking at it as an investment in building your business. That's the first thing to realize, which is you're never going to be able to handle all the details yourself, end quote. Super powerful. And I remember this because I remember as my first consulting business was getting going and things were starting to kind of improve, revenue was increasing. And I was thinking to myself, should I hire someone else on? Should I build the team? And when I first had that thought, I put it off because I was like, no, I want to keep taking more of that money. I need to run lean. I can do more things myself. But exactly like Rita says, if you want to grow, then you can't do everything yourself. And so this is a very common concern, right? Consultants tend to be a little bit more conservative. They tend to believe that they can do things better than other people. But the reality is that even though you might be able to do something better than someone else, the fact that they can do that for you means that you can now free yourself up to work less on the things that aren't as valuable that somebody else can do, and allowing you to focus on the things that are more valuable, right? The things that actually will help you to grow your business even further. And so you don't need to go out and hire a whole bunch of employees and like formally build your team. You can simply go out and actually find contractors, right? Find people through different websites like Fiverr or Upwork, or there's a whole bunch of them out there, right? Freelancer, all these different sites that you can find people that can help you with different tasks. They don't need to be on premises. They can be virtual. They can be remote, but find things that you can delegate, the lower value tasks that happen over and over again. Get someone else to take care of them for you so that you can focus on the true areas where you can create the most value. Now, insight number 8 comes from Gordon Graham, also known as the White Paper Guy. This is podcast number 4. And here's what Gordon had to say. So this is actually called How to Write a White Paper That Wins Consulting Projects. That was the title of it, and it's episode 4. Gordon says, people serve themselves. B2B buyers serve themselves. So they come to your website and, through Google, they click on it and look around. What are they going to be most attracted to, right? I've got something a little bit of a hard truth to impart, which is that nobody cares about your company. We're trying to get our good image and get a nice logo and get our website all together and tell people how proud we are of our company. Nobody cares. They care about their problems like we care about our problems, end quote. And this is a great message here because it's so true, right? It's easy to get caught up in everything that we're doing, but it's always about the client and what's on their mind. Using their language is critical so that your message aligns with them, right? The way to get the attention of your ideal client and to really then be able to create a conversation with them is to use language that taps into what they're actively searching for right now or they're actively thinking about right now. And so it's not about you because they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about the issues that they have. They're thinking about the goals and the accomplishments and the improvements that they want to make. And so when you tap into that language, then the good things start to happen. If you don't know how to do that, if you don't know what the language is, go out and talk to your clients. Go out and talk to prospective clients. Go to talk to people in the industry so you can learn what the industry language is and what truly is top of mind for people right now. And then use that in your marketing, use that in your messaging, and you'll find that you start to see higher levels of response. Now, here's insight number 9. This comes from Subir Chowdhury, which is podcast number 95, and it's titled Landing a $60 Million Deal Without a Proposal. And Subir is a very smart guy. And here's what he said, quote, read more books. Every single day, make that as a habit to become a good consultant. I'm talking about any book. Read even fiction books or nonfiction books. The reason is that it brings empathy. Fiction teaches you empathy. Read those types of books. You can empathize with the client more. I strongly feel that any good consultant should read at least 2 to 3 hours a day. You have to figure out the time. That's number 1. Number 2, once you read more books, then you can develop more self-confidence. I don't know how, but it just happens. Any book you read, your self-confidence will go up, not overnight, but over time, you will develop more self-confidence. This is, first of all, Subir's episode number 95 got tremendous feedback. So if you haven't listened to it, go and check out episode number 95. But I'm a big believer in this. I'm a big believer in reading, like right behind me in the office right now. If you were to look over my shoulder, you would see that I have a bookshelf with hundreds of books on it because I'm a big believer in reading. And I really have seen that the more that I read, the more confidence that I have. And the reason I think is actually simple. It's because that you learn more, right? You get new perspectives, new insights. You start to see how things, like you're able to connect dots that otherwise you couldn't connect before. And so that's the first part, reading, but then it's the application of that reading that is so, so important, right? So don't just read because you can be very knowledgeable, but if you don't know how to actually take action, if you haven't achieved anything from the knowledge that you've gained, then it really doesn't matter. So read, but also implement. So here's insight number 10. It's the last one. And this comes from Blair Enns' podcast number 22. The title of this podcast was Doubling a $400,000 Revenue Model. And here's what Blair said. Most consultants should be in the customized service business. A lot of us find ourselves quasi-productizing our services for reasons that aren't clear to us, that we haven't thought through the implications. So whether or not you feel that Blair's message about being a customized service business model is valid for you or not, I think the real message that I want to pull out for you here, the real nugget is having a business model, right? Because many consultants aren't clear on this. We have consultants every week reaching out and wanting, our help to grow their business. And what I see when I talk to them and kind of explore this with them is that one of the real reasons they can't grow their business is because they aren't clear on what their model is, right? Don't just do the work. Don't just go and offer your services to a whole bunch of people and running around like a chicken with your head cut off, right? Think through, what do you want? Find a model that supports your goals and your lifestyle, because this is your opportunity. This is your business. This is why you got into it, right? To realize your full and true potential. And the way that you do that is by getting very clear on what you want. Because when you know what you want, then you can build a model around that. Then you can actually start to have the right systems in place and a process that supports that. Then when you are very clear on what the model is and who you're serving, then you can make sure that your messaging is laser focused, because you're not all things to all people. When you have that, you're also very clear on what type of client is best suited for that specific model, rather than trying to offer a whole bunch of different services to different kinds of people, because that creates complexity, and complexity doesn't scale. So if you want to scale your business, get very clear on your model and make sure that your model supports what you want in your life and your goals and your revenue targets and time and travel and all those things that are so important to you. The reason that you got into this business, make sure that you're clear on those, and then things will start to come together for you. Now, if you'd like help to grow your consulting business, you can visit us at consultingsuccess.com. Just get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's episode 100. I really want to thank you for your support. And if you haven't already, please do go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and rating. it would mean a lot and helps us to get the message out there and make a difference for all the other consultants and for the community that we're all trying to serve here. So I'd really appreciate if you can do that. I really appreciate you for joining and for listening and for all your support and for all your emails. That's 100 down and 100 more to go. I'm really looking forward to being on this journey with you. Make it a great day.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Success Podcast. For more episodes and to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, head on over to iTunes. And if you'd like to develop consistent lead flow and a highly profitable consulting business, learn more about our coaching programs at consultingsuccess.com.